Gen V Season 2 is moving fast, and amongst the many plot threads is that of the Resistance. But what exactly is the Resistance, and what's their plan? Well, let's talk about that now. First off, we gotta remember the circumstances that led us here. Those circumstances being that freaking Homelander was given the proverbial key to the city when he became acting president of the United States in Season 4 of The Boys. We see early on in Gen V Season 2 how this has affected the country, most notably with a group of Homelander backers attempting to intimidate Marie, while a group of Starlighters stand by and watch. It's obvious that the US is in turmoil, with both sides of the aisle at each other's throats. You know, complete fiction. Elsewhere, also in Episode 1 of Gen V, we get a cameo from Starlight herself, Annie January, who saves Marie from a guy who likes to stoop dogs. This scene is notable because Starlight gives us a huge info dump about how Thomas Goodoak, founder of Goodoak University, had ties to noted Nazi Frederick Vought, who of course founded Vought International and was the inventor of Compound V. This could mean that Goodoak had a hand in creating Compound V, which would not be terribly surprising, I guess, given what we've seen of Goodoak so far. That is that he conducted extremely invasive research on Supes, using God U as a front for the experiments. He supposedly died in 1967 along with the rest of the Project Odessa team, but it's notable that we don't actually see him succumb to the gruesome ends of his teammates. He just kinda passes out, suggesting that there might be a twist in the not-too-distant future regarding his survival. Anyway, Project Odessa is what Starlight is really focusing on in her conspiratorial talk with Marie. See, she believes that Thomas Goodoak specifically started God U in order to pursue this mysterious experiment. She says that she has a source that says Project Odessa is being resumed, and so she needs Marie to go back to the school so that she can investigate it and the Starlighters can stop it. However, they don't exactly know what it is, which is interesting given that they do have that insider information. All they know is that it could be Homelander's proverbial nuke, something that's just a chance, but one they have to take seriously in this war against Supe supremacy. It's also worth mentioning that she refers to "we" in her dialogue with Marie, which Marie immediately calls out and inquires into, only for Starlight to wave it off as something she can't talk about. So between that and the mysterious informant, this means that there's a strong chance we have some sort of traitor in the ranks at God U, or at least someone with some power at the school who is aiding the Starlighters. I'll get back to that in a minute. Anyway, despite a bit of pep talk from Annie, Marie declines to help uncover Project Odessa because she's busy trying to find her sister. Of course, things go awry when Kate comes across Jordan and Emma talking with Marie, and Jordan inadvertently cracks Kate's skull in a last-second moment of self-defense on behalf of Marie. This leads to Marie going back to God U, ironically the only place that she's safe from the ramifications of the attack on Kate, which she believes to be a murder until Cipher brings up that Kate's alive and in the hospital. In Gen V Episode 2, we get a brief scene where good old Note Rufus trash talks a human coffee shop worker, which is set up for the next episode. It also sets up Emma teaming up with Anderson, aka Polarity, who's been recruited as a new member of Goodoak's faculty. Turns out he is super anti the Seven, and the two of them wind up investigating the Goodoak archives, where they find this super secret room filled with Nazi paraphernalia. Amongst all this stuff are photos that clearly show more modern goings-on, suggesting pretty clearly that this horrifying evil hasn't gone away. It's here that Emma realizes what Project Odessa really is: Marie. Turns out that she was the only child to survive Project Odessa, thereby accentuating her importance in Gen V. Not only that, but she was conceived through a partnership between her parents and Vought, and just to add a little extra spice, we see that she was tended to as a baby by none other than Cipher, whose real name is shown to be Dr. Gould. Now, let's dig through exactly what went down in Episode 3 of Gen V, where the Resistance is initially just that flyer posted at the college coffee spot, Jitterbean, where human barista Tess Galloway is having a typically bad time. The flyer she takes down is from the Starlighters, and so it would seem that that group is behind the postings around campus. It's Emma who winds up uncovering the truth, much like she did with the Project Odessa files in the archives. She chases down the person putting up the flyers, who it turns out is Harper, whose power is the ability to copy other powers, kinda like Rogue in the X-Men, but like, with a tail. Anyway, Harper demands that Emma keep her involvement in the Starlighters a secret. Then, Harper takes Emma to her friend Allie's dorm room, where they reveal their plans to vandalize the campus, put up more flyers, and essentially just do a lot of borderline meaningless rebellion. Emma sees this for the lame duck resistance that it is, and suggests that they pick up their game and actually commit to some good old-fashioned sabotage. So really, I could just end this video by explaining it as Allie explains it. The Resistance's plan, as it were, is to spray paint the word fascist on the school's Homelander statue and F Homelander on a Vought burger truck. Harper adds that they're also going to post flyers on the cars in the faculty lot. You know, real hard G stuff. Really, as we've learned so far, there's two separate forms to the Resistance. There's the Starlighters themselves, the ones working with Starlight directly, of whom we know very little, and there's the more on-the-ground Starlighters forming meager protests and doing things like spray painting burger trucks. Neither at this point seems to have much of a plan. The big boys are looking into Project Odessa to figure out what the heck it is and presumably how to stop it, while the less powerful faction isn't really doing much more than lame vandalism that's unlikely to do more than get poor Tess Galloway bullied by acid-spewing jerk-offs.
Taking this orange cranberry scone.
Side note, surely there's gotta be more going on with Tess than meets the eye. After all, she's a character with a full name, but all she's done so far is be a barista and take Xanax. With the emphasis placed on her, I wouldn't be surprised if she turns out to be far more important than the show has thus far let on. Anyway, it seems obvious at this point that Harper and Allie are being set up to join with the higher echelon of Starlighters, with Harper perhaps being the only one to actually make that big leap. They'll work with Emma, and together their plot threads should organically meld with that of Marie, and the group will uncover the full truth behind Project Odessa, and perhaps even bring down Goodoak University as we know it. At least that's what it feels like 3 episodes deep into the season. Obviously, twists are bound to occur. The big question is just who is Starlight's source at Goodoak? Right now, my money is on Cipher, who's admittedly a bit of a long shot, but the way I see it is he's super obsessed, no pun intended, with creating a more powerful superhero. In the season trailer, when Marie asks if he means creating someone more powerful than Homelander, it's edited to show him nod in agreement. What if he really is trying to create a Supe who's able to take down the most powerful of them all? It could be that his intention is actually to stop Project Odessa while fostering Marie's power set, since we know hemokinetics are particularly powerful. It's a messy theory, but after season 1's Dean wound up being the big bad,
"You're not here to study. The school is here to study you."
It'd make sense for the show to subvert expectations and turn the obvious bad guy into the not-so-obvious good guy. But yeah, that's all I've got. We're still deep in mystery territory when it comes to Project Odessa, Dean Cipher, and the Resistance, and so we'll have to wait and see how the season progresses as to just how deep, if at all, the Resistance's plans go and whether or not they can stop Project Odessa, if they even wind up wanting to stop it. Just as Cipher could be a secret good guy, it could be that Project Odessa isn't quite as nefarious as it would seem. And with that thought, let's just go ahead and shuffle off. Let me know in the comments what your theories are for Gen V Season 2, and until next time, thank you for watching ScreenRant.